Welcome.
This is the most somber welcome ever.
It's because I'm mentally preparing myself.
You should be.
For what we're about to discuss.
I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this moment for like 6 months, I think.
Kingdom of Ash.
It's Kingdom of Ash time.
Oh, welcome to Fizz and Fiction.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Spencer, and I'm emotionally drained from reading this series.
But she did it, and I am so proud of her.
Did it.
You feel like you're climbing like Mount Everest?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. It was, like, especially this book, because it's just so, like, daunting looking. It's, like, 1,000 pages.
Do you also almost feel like a little bit better than everyone now?
I'm like, I finished it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. That's just a little bit. Like, I feel like I'm part of an exclusive club.
You are.
Yeah. Where's my button?
Oh, I'll make you a button.
Yes.
I don't know what I'll say yet, but...
Oh, man.
We're here to discuss the final book in the Throne of Glass series.
We made it. I made it. I'm still just in awe. And it's almost, like, sad.
It is sad.
It's like you grieve a little bit.
You go, like, and you especially read through it so fast.
Yeah.
And you, like, are so excited to get to the end, but then you're at the end and you're like, oh.
Yeah, it's over.
I'm leaving Terrason.
Yeah, it was sad. I cried a lot during this book. Like, a lot.
Oh, yeah.
There were times I had to put it down because I was like, literally can't read. But as far as a brief overview without spoilers, I mean, you can't really say a lot. This is the wrap up to Throne of Glass series. Mm-hmm. And basically we're just starting where she was taken by Maeve, and they're trying to get her back. And there's really not much more I can say.
I think, trying to get her back and then, like, still defeating
defeating all the Valg and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just like the general premise. I mean, I'd give this book a 5.
How is that not a 5 stars?
5 stars. Easy. 10 stars.
Like, the best book in the series.
Oh, I would say so.
Like, I haven't seen a series conclude more effectively and more, like, emotionally than this series.
I would say it is,
It's hard to, like, wrap up this many storylines also. Like,
she did it.
She did it.
Yeah. And that's why the book's so big, but but she did it. I would definitely give it a 5. Easy 5. So if you have not read...
We're going straight to spoilers, sorry.
Straight spoilers. There's not much else you can say without getting into spoilers.
There's really not.
So if you've read it... Stay. And if you haven't, come back later.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get into it. Okay.
How do you want to start this? Where do you want to start?
Oh, okay. So we start with her, with Maeve. Mm-hmm. And, like, I'm glad that they did a time jump. I don't know if you remember that, but they do, like, a little time jump. Not long. Like, a couple
weeks.
Like, maybe, like, 6 weeks, something like that. Like, a month.
Just to, like, show that she's been tortured.
Yeah, because it's, like, they've been searching everywhere for her, and,
everything you thought, like, they couldn't just, like, find her easily.
Exactly. And I don't think she wanted to, like, waste time searching. So,
we're at the point where, like, they're actually getting close.
Yeah, they're actually getting closer. So, I like that they did a time jump. Like, one of my first notes is Lorcan saying that he was crawling towards Aelin when him and, like, Elide are talking about it.
Yeah.
And she's just furious
because she was like, you were crawling toward Maeve.
Yeah, he was like, I was crawling towards Aelin. And I'm like, she's just like, I can't even with you right now. And
there's a lot of fear at the beginning of the book, I feel like, that Noah's ever going to forgive anyone.
Yes.
Everyone is mad at someone.
Everyone's mad at someone. And it's just, it's a lot. My next note, speaking of everybody's being mad at anybody, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I am totally and 100% Team Aiden being mad at Lysandra and Aelin. And, like, I get...
Okay. You go first.
I get that they did what they did for... you know, Terrason, and because Aelin kind of anticipated the stuff with Maeve.
And explain what they did.
Okay, yeah. So, at the end of the other book, whichever one that was, I can't remember. Empire Storms. Maeve takes Aelin. Mm-hmm. And Aelin had kind of anticipated that is something that could have happened.
Yeah.
So, weeks before that, her and Lysandra had basically been planning that if this happened, a contingency plan, where Lysandra, who is a shifter, would shift into Aelin and pretend to be her because she called
indefinitely.
because she called in all these allies. And she's like, if I'm not here, they might not rally for me. Which I get. And kudos, like, it worked. I mean, to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, but as far as, it worked as far as, like, them following her because they thought Aelin was there. But I was so frustrated
with the other part of the plan.
Where, like, they didn't tell anybody else. And what frustrates me with that is that, like, I feel, and I get that she's got trust issues, whatever. But I feel like time and time again, since she has, like, said who, like, everybody's known who she is, like, her cousin, how do you pronounce his name? I say Adian.
Adian?
Okay.
I'd say that.
Even if he, like, gives her flack, he's gonna do what she tells him to do. Because he's like, you are my ride or die. You are who I serve. If I could have, I would have taken the blood oath first. Like, you are who I meant to serve. You are my queen. Yeah. And even if it's something that I don't necessarily agree with, and, you know, we talk about it, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what you want to do. Yeah. And I think that he's proved that. And she didn't trust any of them in that. And now...
I think she knew they'd try and stop her.
Yeah, but I think they were trying to stop her, but I think that, like, you can't stop her. So I think it's better to have prepared them for it. But what frustrated me was that, like, throughout the whole first part of the book, Aedion and Lysandra and, like, Ren and all them are on the front line. Yeah. Dying by the thousands. Just, they're getting ripped apart. And there's, like, morale's dying because...
she doesn't have fire.
She doesn't have fire. And I'm like, what? This was not a good plan. I mean, it was a good plan, but also that part was not a good part of the plan. Like, what did you expect to happen? Like, they're just, and, like, the men are just like, where's the queen? Because she'll just mysteriously disappear because Lysandra's out there. Fighting as a leopard. And the queen's nowhere to be found. And that just, like, annoyed me. And, like, I know Lysandra was like, well, I would do anything for her. I'm like, he would too. And I think that's what annoyed me the most is that it was like, yeah, he would have done anything for her too. And, like, y'all should have clued him in on this. Everybody in on this because it just, I think it cost, I don't know what the alternative would have been. But I think it just cost so many lives just from that one decision. And it just, like, it annoyed me that she was annoyed that he was mad. And nobody ever apologized. Okay, I think that was it. She never apologized. And not for apologizing for doing it. Like, okay, you did it. What annoyed me was that she never apologized for lying. And I'm like...
Aelin or Lysandra?
Both. Okay. Both. So I get, like, you don't apologize for your plan. Your plan, like, semi-worked. Like, whatever. They bought it. You were there. I mean, they eventually found out because you weren't throwing fire around. But what annoyed me was that they didn't apologize for, like lying. Like, okay, yeah, we should have told you. Because now you're just in this shit show of a front line where everybody's dying.
So I agree on some points. Okay. I do think that it went horribly wrong.
It went horribly wrong.
I think that
The minute they put that glass out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just... I was like, I can't with this.
I think that had they, like, brought everyone in, they could have come up with other plans. Yes, 100%. I get that. I do think that Aelin didn't want anyone, like, giving her alternatives. Like, she made her decision, which is not necessarily a good decision, but she made it. Yeah. My problem with Aedion is how shitty he was to Lysandra, regardless of that.
Okay, yeah, that scene where he, like, puts her in the cold, yeah, that was just...
But he was, like, being mean to her in general the whole book.
Oh, yeah, well, he was pissed, and I was pissed with him.
I understand that you're pissed, but if you love her, like, you don't act like that. Like, was Rowan acting like that to Aelin? No.
No, but Rowan wasn't looking like... By the time Rowan got Aelin and she was just, like, all decrepit, like, you can't be even mad at her at that point.
I don't think he would have been mad at her, though.
We can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree. I think you can be mad and, like, I don't think these things are mutually exclusive.
No, I think he's allowed to be mad, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can be mad and not be a dick.
I mean, fair.
And I think he took it too far, and, like, he's lucky she came back to him.
We can agree to disagree. I was understanding of him, like, the whole time. I was like, yeah. I was like, I would be pissed too. Okay. It says Fenris heartbreak. Oh my god. All the scenes with them where she's in like captivity. Those are all really hard to read.
Yeah.
Like where they're just like breaking her apart and just like putting her back together where she doesn't even know where anything's real.
Yeah.
And he just like had to sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just...
That one was really hard.
Yeah, and I liked how after the fact, when they rescued her, and let's talk about how when they rescued her, Alad was like, she's probably in the fucking Capitol, and they're like, she wouldn't be there.
Yeah,
and she was there! I'm like, why are we trusting this girl? I'm like, she's smart.
Yeah.
Like, she knew. Yeah, I liked, I liked her kind of, I liked her being with them a lot.
Oh, yeah. She finally found her princess.
Yeah.
Or queen, whatever she is. Sorry.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah. She's like, I don't care if I'm hurt.
Yeah.
I'm out there.
Yeah. Her, like, doing all those, like, visions in her head where it's like, this is what your life would have been. Oh, that was hard.
And that's why, like, she couldn't believe anything. Even when she was rescued, she, like, couldn't really believe anything.
Yeah, yeah. And, the part, I think one of the first parts where I cried was when she was in captivity. And I can't even remember exactly what, like, the circumstance was, but she was in captivity and, like, she had a vision of her mom. And it was, like, the, she was, like, beating, and it was, like, the you will not yield, I think. And
No,
then,
you do not yield,
yeah, and then I think, like, after kind of she came to, she realized that she had, like, bent the cage. I was like, yes!
Yeah.
She should break free!
They're still fighting her.
Yes! I was like,
Yeah.
break free, break free, break free.
Because it's, like, it's a rough, like, it's a long, like, she's in captivity for a while, it feels like. In the book, like.
She doesn't get out until, like, a solid, almost to, like, 300 pages.
Yeah, like, you're really, like, seeing her torture and, like,
Yeah.
what it's doing to her.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot. And I felt so bad for Rowan.
Yeah.
He's just like, where's my wife? Where's my wife? And then I'm trying to think of what is happening with, there's so many storylines. I'm trying to think of what was happening with Dorian at the beginning. He's with
Manon.
He's got the keys. He's got two keys.
Got all the keys?
No, he's got 2 keys.
So he's with them, and they're going to find the other witches.
They find the Cochrane witches.
And Mannon's trying to convince them to, like, join the cause. And Dorian's, like, there, but he has his own agenda.
Yeah.
He's trying to get some more ass to get the 3rd key.
Yes. And while they're there, they come across one of the spiders. The spider who had taken the shifting from Lysandra's uncle. Whatever his name is. I can't think of his name. Falcon.
Yes.
And he ends up learning to shift.
Yeah.
Which was totally surprising to me.
Like, unlock something inside of him.
Yeah, I was like, at that point, I was kind of like, are there no rules? Like, how did this happen? It seemed, I don't know.
Well, it almost makes you wonder, like, if these if it's just, like, pure power, and they just manifest differently inside people.
Yeah, because a lot of the times they refer to his magic as, like, raw magic.
Yeah.
So it's almost like whatever you can do with it.
Yeah.
Like, if you can find out how to do it, then you can do it. So yeah, I was very surprised at that. I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah. And of course she betrays them.
Oh.
The spider.
Yeah, that made me mad. And then they have, like, a little attack there.
Yeah. I do love the witch stuff. Like, her, like, she had to fight so hard to get everyone on board with her.
Yeah, she's, like, asking her grandma, how do I do this?
Yeah, her grandma was nice.
And Dorian, too. Like, how do I, because she's like, you're a king. How do you, because she's not used to the court. Like,
official rule. Like, how do you make
Yeah.
people like her almost?
like, yeah, like, playing the
Rally
game.
behind her, yeah.
Playing the Game of Thrones.
You win or you die.
Yeah. Yeah, I did like all of them, and I liked her grandma. Her other grandma, not the original grandma.
Yeah, screw her.
Yeah. And then Dorian finds out he can shifts, and he's practicing it, and she's kind of mad.
Well, she doesn't want him to go
Yeah, I think she's
Get
very
himself killed.
Yeah, I think she's very confused with her feelings.
She loves Dorian.
Yeah,
But she doesn't like that she loves Dorian.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, damn.
She's like,
I do care
got
about
shit
you.
to do though.
Yeah, and they have that big old fight about like it's okay to care, and because like okay to care about your new family, like your new witch family and all this kind of stuff, and it showing you care is not a bad thing.
Yeah,
and they have that whole like not gonna drag out, and then they get Aelin, or Aelin breaks free.
Technically, yeah, she saves herself. Let's be real.
Yeah, Fenris like breaks through.
He just.
Oh my
I thought
gosh.
he was gonna die.
I did too.
I was crying then.
I thought he was gonna die.
I was like, he's a goner.
And I didn't know that, like, she could save him with the blood oath.
I don't know that she knew that either.
And I'm so glad that they did. Because when he fought back against...
It was breaking my... Oh my god.
And he was...
Scared now.
Yeah, he was just fighting so hard. And then he, like, gave her time to get away.
Mm-hmm.
And she's, like, in the middle of this camp and sees, I think, like, Lorcan.
Yeah, one of them.
And, like, goes, like, he, like, heads in that direction. Oh, and her not being able to get the mask off. Ooh, that was hard. I was, yeah, there was some tears there. It was very hard to read. And then they go, and they're headed back.
Because everyone's so far away from each other at that point.
I honestly was worried.
That was like half the anxiety was like, is anyone gonna make it to anyone on time?
Well, that's why I was so fucking frustrated for Aedion and Lysandra and Ren and all them, because by the time they've gotten Aelin and they're on the way back, they're weeks away. Weeks.
And they're like, we're only gonna hold out for like 7 days or something.
And and then you flash to like Aedion and Lysandra and Ren and all of them like on the front line. I'm like, there's not going to be anybody left. I literally thought there was not going to be anybody left by the time they got back to Terracent.
Yeah.
I was so worried.
Yeah.
It was anxious. I was like very anxious.
And like you like see how much of the book you still have left. And
I know.
Like, so far away.
So far. Oh yeah, at that point you're 300 pages in, and
like we're not gonna make it for another week.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we're just a few weeks away.
Yeah. Oh, it was infuriating. I was like anxious and furious because all these people are dying, and I'm like, shouldn't there be a better way for y'all to get somewhere? You're Fae.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what, but I want there to be a better way than you just getting on a ship.
Yeah.
It was very. I was very frustrated. So they like head back. They go through those caves because she's the queen of the little people. Little fairies, whatever.
And that's why when you told me that you saw them in the first book, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Like she's been laying that.
Yeah, laying that groundwork along.
Because they help her.
Oh yeah, they shelter them. They feed them, and then they like give them that little boat that goes through the cavern so they're not exposed. Yeah.
And what do they find in the caverns?
Oh, she finds little rings. That was sweet.
That was sweet.
It was sweet. I just love how she was like, we're gonna need some money. Might as well raid.
She's so practical.
Might as well raid this this tomb full of riches.
Yeah.
And finds those rings. That was very cute.
I did like that.
So they're on their way.
Mm-hmm.
It's all well and good. Let's see what. Oh, one of my favorite lines was when they first meet the grandma, the Cochrane grandma, or Croquant, whatever, the other grandma. And she says something, and Dorian says, his line is, I wish you were my great-grandmother. It was just so simple, but it made me laugh.
Yes.
And it was one of my favorite lines in the whole,
Dorian's just like so like
in the whole book.
Honest. Like he's just like he's just gonna say what's in his head.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was good. Oh yeah, Fenris taking the blood oath had me in tears, and he was like taking it in because he didn't even like go out of that form for it was heartbreaking.
Like the grief over his twin brother too.
Like, yeah.
All of that.
I wasn't expecting that. Like I thought she was about to kill him, and
I just hated that she like released him from her compulsion just so he could say like
how much she hated him.
How much she hated him. Yeah. Like that like broke me for him.
Yeah, it was. Oh, Manon and Dorian need to both stop running from their feelings and trauma. So stubborn. That's my note.
Yeah.
I mean, but really.
Oh,
and this is before they get on the ship to, like, sail away.
Mm-hmm.
where Lorcan takes the blood oath. And I was for it.
That was a big deal, I feel like.
And I like how, like, a little later in the book, I think it was Gabriel who was talking to Elad and was basically saying, he took that for you. He didn't take that for Aelin. I mean, he took it for Aelin.
Yeah.
And he's going to, serve her. But he did it so he could be near you.
Because he wanted to prove that he wouldn't kill Aelin, basically.
Yeah.
If he stayed with her.
Yeah.
And she wasn't leaving Aelin.
Exactly. So he's like, you're going to be here, I'm going to be here too, and this is the only way I can be here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought I was here for that. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is my note. What good is having a kingdom if there's no one left to live in it? I was so furious through this whole book.
I feel like am I a bad person? I did not care about everyone dying.
Oh, I was enraged.
I was not.
Every fight scene with Lysandra and them, where they were on the front lines and they were just
I felt bad.
Getting massacred.
Yeah.
I was enraged.
I was not enraged.
Oh, I was like, what? I was like, who are you gonna rule? I was so mad. I mean, like.
But the thing is you have to keep fighting because you're not gonna if you lose, it's not like you're gonna
Oh yeah.
be ruled. You're gonna be like the Vals are not just another kingdom.
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to keep fighting, but I was just so mad.
I can see that.
I was so mad because they weren't adequately prepared for what they know to be a crazy power. They knew about those witch mirrors.
But how would they have prepared?
I don't know how they would have prepared. I don't have an answer. I'm just saying what did happen sucked.
It did suck.
Yeah, I can still be enraged.
Okay.
It sucked. Yeah. I'm not saying I have a better answer. I'm just saying the one that they went with caused a lot of casualty.
It did.
With a lot of, magical people, there was still a lot of...
But I think that the point of that is to show you, how bad it is.
I mean, yeah. But I can still be mad about it.
Okay.
I can still be, mad with the plan. I mean, I don't have a better plan, but I can still be mad with the one that they had.
Okay.
They get to the mainland. Mm-hmm. They get to... They don't make it at first. They don't go straight to... Because they're at Kale's...
oh yeah.
Town. Not kingdom. Whatever. Area.
Kale's place.
Kale's place. They're with his dad.
Mm-hmm. His dad is the worst. I hate his dad so much.
Oh, he sucks. And I loved when he found out that his mom left his dad. Mm-hmm. Where it wasn't just she's went to go and
be safe.
It was no, it was she essentially left him.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. Oh, and he had that whole trunk of letters that she wrote to him.
That he never got.
His
dad sucks.
His dad sucks.
Because he thought, I think he thought his mom didn't care either.
Yeah, but she did. And she wrote him all these letters, and he never sent them. I was just heartbroken.
She basically he had to get threatened to, let anyone in, I feel like.
Yeah.
To save them.
Yeah. So they go there. Mm-hmm. At this point, they're not with Adian and them. They're just...
They got word. They're with the Rucks.
They're with the Rucks.
They got word that there were army people coming there.
Yes. And so they ended up going there, and then so did Aelin and them. Mm-hmm. So they all meet up at Kale's dad's place. And the witches aren't with them yet either.
No. They're still in the mountains.
Yeah. And
I remember Aelin got some nice armor from there.
Yeah, she stole it.
Yeah.
They all went down in there and stole some armor.
Yeah.
And then Kale's
gonna say something.
And then Kale's dad sees it and he's like, what are you gonna say?
What are we gonna do? We're protecting your entire home.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. And he wasn't nice to Yrene either.
Oh no. Yeah. Because once he realized that Aelin was the assassin that Kale had, loved.
Yeah.
He's like, you could have had a queen. You didn't like her 2 books ago.
He's just power hungry.
Yeah, he's just power hungry.
He didn't care who she is.
Yeah. He's a piece of work. I do not like him.
Wait, do you find out at that part that she's pregnant?
Oh, you find out at the end of the last book.
Oh, okay.
She touches her belly or something, and it's oh, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's preggers. So sweet.
But I feel like he finds out, like, later.
Oh, yeah, Kale
At
does.
that battle.
Yeah, Kale finds out then.
Yeah.
Because his dad tells him.
His dad could tell.
He's like, you can't even tell that your wife's pregnant. Like, right before the battle happens.
This is the only place I will allow a pregnancy trope, because this is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, he tells him like that. Like, right before the battle happens.
And he's like, fuck.
Like, his dad sucks.
Yeah.
But I liked when Aelin and Hashir, is that her name? Met
Yeah.
for like first time face to face.
Yeah.
They seem like they would have like some good like back and forth.
Or kill each other.
Yeah, or kill each other.
50-50 shot there.
Yeah. So that battle ensues, and while that battle's going on,
Did they tell Aelin at that point too about the spiders? What they said?
Yes,
Nestrin
tells her what she found out,
which is huge. Like,
yeah,
in this grand scheme of things.
Maeve is Valg.
Yeah,
which I
think Aelin kind of like was starting to suspect something.
When she was in captivity, she saw like she threw something at her at one point, and it got her
like thinking.
cheek. Oh, it got her cheek.
Oh, it was black blood.
And like a drip of black blood came out.
She was imagining it though, or not.
And then Maeve went into like all their heads and turned it red. But she was like, I think I saw it black for a second. But she didn't know it was real.
Yeah, she couldn't tell if it was real or not.
Yeah, her like dealing with reality the whole time was really sad.
Yeah.
Because she was like putting on this whole front of being like her usual self.
It reminded me of Hunger Games, where it's like real or not.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's fair. But yeah, it was really sad. Broen was really nice about it. He's like, I'll just, let you lead, kind of thing.
Oh, like he like wouldn't touch her until she was ready for it.
Oh yeah. Or like, but even like playing along with her being like all like jackassy.
Because she was like trying to like pretend to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so while they're meeting at Kale's place, Dorian has shifted.
He's flying into
Marath, which is scary. But he gets it kind of easy.
Well, he's a little
yeah.
Oh, he transforms into one of those
like a worm
Ilkin. Oh, I think he's like. First, he's like
he flies
blending in, flying in, and then he becomes like a little.
Or a trainer. No, he comes in as an Ilkin trainer. Like a guy as Ilkin trainer, but like he's not Dorian, but he's like an Ilkin trainer.
Oh, he's like changed his face. Yeah,
and then
he gets small.
Then he gets
like
small,
a little mouse and like running around.
Yeah,
and then who does he find?
I thought that he was going so under the radar.
I know. I was like, you're doing great, Joy.
I was so proud.
So proud of you.
I was so proud. And
your plan's working.
And then May was like, you could show yourself. I'm like, what?
She's like, hair flip.
Yeah. Like, why do you have to know everything? I was very surprised that she found him because I thought he was doing so well.
And then she didn't immediately kill him.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised that she was there because
she knows that she lost Aelin.
Yeah, and Aelin sent out those letters and turned all the Fae.
Oh yeah, all of his like cousins.
So they're not fighting for her anymore. Yeah. So she's lost her army.
She's kind of like alone in this now. So she has no choice but to align herself.
Yeah.
With Erewhon.
Yeah, and she tells him who she is. Like, don't you recognize me, brother? I'm like, oh, weird.
And yeah, so it's not her husband. It's like one of his brothers. Yeah. So I feel like she feels a little bit more... Like, she kind of tricks him into thinking, like, she wants to open it, too.
Yes.
Like, she's, like, ready to go home.
Yeah, she's trying to, like, play to him, like, what he wants, for sure. And
Dorian's trying to get the last key out of his, like, locked... Like, he searches everywhere, it's not there, so, like, it has to be in his, like, personal quarters, basically.
Yeah. And then he convinces Maeve that they're, like, kind of in cahoots. And I did not like that at all. It was so weird.
It was gross.
Him flirting with her.
Yeah.
Ugh, it made me cringe.
I didn't like it either. But he was playing well.
Oh, he did so well.
He did. I believed him for a minute.
Because I think I texted you and Rachel, and I was like, if this is how this is going to go, I'm going to be so mad.
I would throw a book in that case.
Oh, well, out the window.
Like, if he just completely, like, changed sides.
Oh, I would have been so mad. I would have been furious.
Oh, yeah.
So, he like, convinces her, and then he double-crosses her.
She thinks she's double-crossing him.
Yes, and then he double-crosses her.
Because he makes it in the room, and he finds the key.
Oh, there's, like, a girl in there.
Oh, yeah. He kills her, I think. Mercy kills her? Or he set her free?
I can't remember.
She has a shard in her arm.
Yeah.
And that's, like that's what
Catelyn,
he's doing to
Catelyn,
Catelyn.
yeah.
And so he takes it out, and I think he might have Mercy killed her. I can't remember, actually.
I can't remember either.
But then he is about to escape, and Maeve, like, shows up thinking that she's, like, turning him in. and he ends up, how does he bring it down? He, like, brings the place down around them.
He had set something up to, like, blow up. Yeah. Okay. But I can't remember what.
I can't either. But he escapes. There's like a
so
flag.
Much, yeah, there's so much going on. And he had just left the other 2 keys just in the wilderness.
I thought that was the same thing.
I was so afraid. I can't remember what Rocky left him under.
Doesn't all, like, darkness, like, call to people?
Yes.
Like,
right?
Like, who's gonna find these? So Dorian has all 3 keys.
Dorian has all 3 keys. Oh, Mandan asked him to marry, before he went off, she, like, asked him to marry him, and he was like, no, because I know that's not what you want. And I was like, oh, man, these 2.
But he's right.
I know.
She's doing it for the wrong reasons.
She is.
Dorian loves her.
Yeah, she's doing it for the wrong reasons. They were stressing me out the whole book.
Yeah.
I was just like, y'all need to get it together.
I love them.
Oh, what the fuck is Dorian's endgame with his proposal? Yeah.
Oh, for Maeve.
Oh, his line, like one of his ending lines when he's like leaving Maeve, he's like, there's only one witch who will be my queen.
It's Nan.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I like air pumped.
What's so funny? She probably has no idea who he's talking about.
She's never like she saw her on the beach, but she didn't know who she was.
What other witch was he talking about?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But it's so good for us.
Okay, so after that, Dorian flies to
back to the witches.
No, he doesn't go back to the witches. He goes to, I don't know how he knows they're there. I can't remember how, but he goes to Aelin and them. But at the end of the battle. But let's talk about the battle.
Which one is this one? Are they still at Kale's place?
Yeah, okay. Where it's like they break the dam. They're like,
oh my god!
It's like chaos. It reminded me of Lord of the Rings. It's just like chaos on the field, and there's just they're kind of like, I don't know that it's like someone's necessarily winning or losing, but then they see that they are going to flood the field.
Yeah.
And
where all the people technically would have lived.
Yeah, where all the people would have lived, where all the Rooks are. Like, the Rooks would not have been able to, like, get out of the way of the tidal wave that would have come. And, so they're, like, breaking it. And then Nesrin and them they fly over there, her and her guy. And they see, like, there's nothing we can do. They've broken it to the point where, and now it's just a waiting game. Like, this thing.
We're gonna save as many people as we possibly can.
Yeah, like, call everybody back and like try to get them as far away as you can, but like this is gonna break. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh no. And then Lorcan was still out there. And you know what pissed me off?
What?
And you know, and like they call us out in the book, and I was just so pissed off for so many side characters this book.
A lot of anger.
I was angry in a lot. I was angry for some of it.
Okay.
Well, it pissed me off because they were like calling everybody back in, or like telling the Rooks to go like farther that way to try to like outrun it as far as they could and like get away from it. And then so like they're all pulled back, and then Allied comes in and she's like, where's Lorcan?
Yeah.
And nobody knows. And she's like, and like the line in it is like, and nobody looked like they cared. Like nobody cared to know.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, they were fighting at that point too.
They were, but he's still blood sworn to you.
Yeah.
Like, you should know where he is.
I do wonder if they knew that he was out there to die, though.
Yeah, so, but he's out there. He's, like, buried under, because he was, like, fighting. And he's, like, trapped under some of, like, the Ilkin, basically. And he's, like, been injured.
Yeah.
And nobody knows where he is. And Alon's like,
I'll go after him.
I'll go after him. And she's I think, like, at the end of this, she was, like, my favorite character. Like, one. Like, at the end of this, I think she was my favorite female character.
Oh, she beats out Aelin?
Yeah, I think she did.
Oh.
Aelin just, with her plans, I just...
You hate her plans so much.
Well, it just... Yeah. So, she ended up, I think, being my favorite character. Woman character.
Yeah.
And so, she goes out on the horse, on Kale's horse, and it's just, like, searching for him. And then she finds him, and she, like, drags him up onto the horse. I'm like, man, this woman loves him. I love it. I love it so much. And they're like making a break for the gate before the dam breaks, and he's like, drop me.
Yeah.
He's like, leave me. I'm too heavy. You're not going to make it with me carrying you down. She sinks her fingers into him, and he like confesses he loves her, and she's like not going to let him die. And I was like, this is so precious. She's basically saying, if you're going to die, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
If we're going out, we're going out together. I was so worried. Because I was like...
It was very close.
Because in my mind, in the back of my mind, reading this whole book, I knew that it was the end. And I'm like,
people were going to die.
People were going to die.
Yeah.
I'm like, a lot of people have made it far.
Mm-hmm.
So... every time somebody was in a dangerous situation, I was on waiting on like the edge of my seat for them to die, because I'm like, not everybody's gonna make it out.
Yeah.
So it was very nerve-wracking.
Not everybody does make it out.
Yeah. Ugh. And we'll get to that in a minute. So they don't even. I don't even think they don't even make it. Aelin comes out there and
they wouldn't have made it.
They wouldn't have made it.
They wouldn't have made it.
So she goes out there and she does her whole thing. And like turns it to steam,
I guess.
Yeah. And then Rowan like blows it away, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, the rooks aren't like ruined, and
yeah.
So, and I can't technically remember if it's like they technically won that battle or not, but they come away.
They survive,
more or less unscathed.
Yeah.
And so they're. By that point, they come back in. They're like, the battle's over, and Lorcan's like healing, and like him and Alad, make nice, and then Dorian finds them. Mm-hmm. I think like later that night or something before they leave, and they're like, we're closing the gate together.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't expecting that to happen then. I thought, like, that was going to be, like...
The end.
Yeah. And I'm kind of glad it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that it was... I mean, God, it was, like, almost midway through the book.
Yeah, I think it was the midpoint.
So, I was glad that they were just going to go ahead and do that. They were going to do it together. And, of course, Aelin's got something else up her sleeve. She always fucking does. And even though it works out a lot of the time, it's still just, like... You could have just let somebody know.
But she knows they wouldn't let her.
I know, but it's like...
That's her fatal flaw.
That's her fatal flaw. That is her fatal flaw.
It is.
And it's just... If she would just be so hard to be friends with. I couldn't handle it. I'd be like, we're going to dinner. Are we?
Will you show up?
Like... What's gonna happen at dinner? Are we actually not going to dinner? Is it something else?
Like, you have trust issues with her.
Yeah, I do. She doesn't make it easy.
Mm-hmm.
But so they go to close the gate.
Her and Dorian are gonna use their powers together in the hopes that
it
won't kill both of them.
Yeah, it offsets.
And they've agreed to it. Rowan's come along,
and so is Kale. Yep.
And they're saying their goodbyes, though, just in case.
They're saying goodbyes, and then they, draw the word mark and go into, a little portal-y thing.
Mm-hmm.
And...
They're
holding hands, and they're, going...
They're in the space between, I guess.
Yeah, doing whatever they need to do to, pull their magic to close the gate. And then, who shows up but the king? I was like...
I'm gonna cry now.
Oh, my gosh. I was like, what? I was like, what is this? And I was so confused. And then he starts talking about how, Erwin stole it. Oh my God, he stole his name. And I was just in tears. And then I thought back to that clip where I was like, oh, the king didn't have a name. And he stole his name. Oh my gosh, I was in tears. And then Dorian was thinking back to his whole life and couldn't think of his name. And oh my gosh, I was...
But then he said that the one time he could remember his name
was when he had him.
And he gave him his own name.
Yeah, I was torn apart. And I I had so much, in that moment, I had so much sympathy for the king that I had not previously had.
I know you've hated him for so long.
I did.
I had to, like, let you hate him because you do hate him, even though it's not him.
Yeah, and it was a good, like, it was a good...
It's cathartic.
Yeah, it was cathartic. It was, like, a good way to kind of, like, wrap him up. Because he starts to help.
And pay the price.
Yeah, he's like, I will pay the price for my son.
Yeah.
And they throw Dorian out. Like, they disconnect. They disconnect from him. And then he, like, comes back to his, like, body.
He's pissed.
Rightfully so. And he tries to get back in and, like,
you can't. It's, like, shielded.
The connection's broken. Yeah. And so she works with the king, whose name is Dorian. Oh, yeah, it broke my heart. I was in tears. It broke my heart just to, it's the only time I remembered my name. He took everything from me. He took my name. Oh,
and to, like, know that he had to, like how, because you can see it, you saw how Dorian was in there with him when he was, like, controlled. Yes. So, like, you know the king was, like, conscious that entire time.
Yeah, like, under it all, he was conscious. So he knew what this person, like, was doing, but couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So.
And from my understanding, it's, like, this, like afterlife, this beyond that we, like, are part of, is, like, another plane, basically. So, like, the king knows that, like, once he does whatever he's doing, gives, like, his life force over, basically, like, he won't exist.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there will be no afterlife. He's just, like, gone.
Yeah. And then while they're there, she, like, has, like, a run-in with the gods. And she was gonna trade... What was she gonna do? She was gonna trade something for...
So they had already decided that they were going to wipe Alara
off the
face of the
existence.
Earth, out of existence as punishment. Like, that's, like, how this all ends, is, like, she's gone.
Yes.
And like, they are opening this door they're opening is actually for the gods to go back to their realm.
Yeah, yeah. To just, like, go mosey on.
They don't care about the bad guys. They're trying to get back to their own homes.
Yep.
And that she's trying to trade for them to keep, like, give Alara that afterlife that she wants with, like, the love of her life.
Yes.
And
then they like, double
only one god is nice.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one her name was. But they double crossed her.
I think it's the one that, like, touches Alad.
Yes, yeah. So, like, she opens the gate, and they're like, haha, nope. And, like, kill her? I don't know how they do it, but they, like, wipe her from existence.
Yeah.
And so she changes the, she doesn't send them back to their own home. She sends them somewhere else.
No, I think she does, but then I think she destroys it somehow. Wherever she sends them, she destroys it.
Like, they can't...
And they're, like, screaming or something.
They're mad about what she does.
Yeah, it's like all hell breaks loose. Yeah, I couldn't really tell, like, exactly what happened.
I thought she, like, sent them to, like, the wrong place on purpose.
See, I thought she sent them to where they wanted to be, but then just, like, did something to destroy it. But I wasn't sure what. But, I wasn't very clear on which one it was. Because a lot was happening, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. But
the one goddess...
The gods get screwed over.
The gods get screwed over, but before they go home, before they leave, like, one of the gods stops and is like... Because technically, Aylin's about to, like, be done for. Like, she's...
Oh, yeah.
She would have gone out of existence as well. Mm-hmm. But then one of the gods, like, appreciated what she did for Alara.
Yeah.
And, like, gives her the tiniest bit of fire back.
Yeah. And then she
kind of, like, comes back from the circle.
Well, then she falls through all this. She falls through worlds. And she falls through. Was Akatar.
Yeah, she falls. She sees Rhysand and Feyre pregnant.
Okay, that's what I thought.
She falls through that world.
It was like such a cute little nod.
I know.
Yeah. So she falls through that world, but she falls, and eventually she falls back into her world. Mm-hmm. So they've closed the gate.
Yeah.
Which the way that they did it, like, Erwin is like, they didn't close him with him on the other side. Like, now they've closed the gate, there's no gods, and they're
stuck with him.
Stuck with him. So it's like, they have to...
Oh, the gods are supposed to take Erwin with them, and they didn't.
And they didn't.
Yeah, that's right.
So now it's like, okay, well, we've gotten rid of our god problem. But now we have to deal with Erwin. And Aelin doesn't have her Firebringer power. Like, she has, like, a little bit.
She has a tiny bit, but she doesn't have what she had before.
Yeah, she's not, like... she is not
She's not
Aelin the
gonna intimidate
Firebreaker.
anyone.
Yeah, she's not gonna like just
Wipe out.
destroy
Yeah.
everything. So that happens, and then luckily she's alive.
That's the point.
Like with how, even with my frustration with her, I was glad she was alive.
Yeah.
She's my second favorite female character.
Okay.
I mean, like, I still love her.
Okay.
But she makes me angry. It's like how Violet makes me angry. I still love, like in
Don't compare her to Violet.
I mean, you know what I mean. But it's just like, just some of the decisions they make, I'm just like, why? Couldn't we just communicate?
Yeah.
But anyway, so they do that,
Mm-hmm.
and then what's my next one? It probably was. So they go to the capital of Terrasen.
They're in Terrasen.
Yep. After that, that's where they're going.
Yes, because that's where Darrow is, and like everyone's hanging out there.
Yep. The Rooks decided to follow.
Yep.
Because they're like, we've already made it this far. We're gonna see this through.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a point of contention. They didn't know if the Rooks were gonna come with them or not.
Yeah.
So they all go, and they all go to Orinth. Is that what it is?
Yes, that's how I say it.
And so by that time, Adian and them have made it there.
Yes.
They're reunited with Evangeline.
Evangeline, who is a great character right now.
Oh, she is. She's
Like,
just
how
like
can I help?
She's such a little surprise.
She is. She's a delight.
Because by the time they get there, and they have like all these people, they still have the prince from across the sea. Prince, and she's got like the silent assassins and the Rooks. She's got everybody. She's got all these allies. She's bringing them back. And they get back to Orinth, and the guy, what was his name?
Which one?
Not Marrow.
Darrow.
He recognizes her.
Recognizes Aelin?
I think he recognizes Aelin. I think it was like pretty.
He'd already met her.
No. He recognizes her as queen.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Or he does at some point in this battle. But it was so cute because
Him and Evangeline were cute.
It was because of like what Evangeline like. She had like, they had this moment where she was talking about how like even though she wasn't from Terrasen, she was like excited to like call it her home or something like that. And
like it helped him understand Aelin's perspective.
Yeah. And it was so cute.
And then when he says he's gonna like deed everything to her when he
Oh my
dies,
gosh!
like that made me want to cry.
Yes! When he was talking about, he was telling Lysandra that he recognizes her as
His heir.
lady of the whatever, but she was like, but she's your ward, but I would like to name her like basically my successor because he doesn't have any kids.
Yeah.
I thought that was really sweet. I was like, good for you.
He came a long way.
Yeah, he did. I was like, good for you, Evangeline.
Yeah.
The Murtaugh guy, Ren's granddad, when he died to like protect the West Gate, I was not happy.
Yeah.
But when
So we're under siege right now.
we're under siege. Yeah, they get there and it's like one night, and then like or it's not long. Maybe not
they
a
like
night.
saw it, like they could like see it in the distance coming.
Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't take long to get into that under siege, and so they.
And they know they only have like so many days. They only have so much food or something.
Mm-hmm. And so they end up. I can't remember how they did every single witch tower, because at that point I think they're
hauling them up. They're like they're like driving them.
Yeah.
And they have to get within a shooting range basically.
Yeah. And they destroy them. I can't remember how they destroy all of them.
I think that they set up at night like some explosive stuff.
Yes, they did. But before they get there, and they take out
they dug out holes.
Yes,
and they have explosives.
And they do a flaming arrow.
Yeah.
And like
it works for a few of them.
It works for and I think there's 3, and I think it works for 2 of them, which is all good. And so like the battle is ensuing, and like Aelin obviously can't just like wipe people out anymore.
And they're catching on to that.
Yeah, but she's still, she's still badass. She's still an assassin.
Oh, I meant like the people.
Oh, yeah.
Aelin, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, at this point she's there.
Oh, she's made it there.
Yeah, she's made it there.
Okay.
They're all there when they start like this big battle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Aelin and all of them are there. And then the witches come because like at first they I think they were kind of like outnumbered, and the witches come.
They help destroy something.
Yeah. Well, they keep them held off for a while.
Because they were, like, about to be breached, I think.
Yeah.
And the witches came in, like, the nick of time to, like, stop, like, a full-on breach.
Yes. And so...
And that's also when I think the gate they were trying to close happened, too. With Gabriel.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens. So, well, but even before that happens, the most heartbreaking thing happens in this whole book, where I cried the most. Where, like, the witches have already been there, but then they have the third witch tower that...
That was before all the other stuff?
I can't remember all the order in it.
Okay.
That was before Gabriel.
That was before Gabriel?
That was before Gabriel. That was 100% before Gabriel.
Oh.
No,
I bawled my eyes out in this part then.
Oh my gosh. So, when they something happened with whatever they rigged for the third witch tower.
Well, it blew up and it wasn't at that point yet, so it missed it.
Yeah, and so it's still coming.
Yeah, and the way the witch towers work is like a witch basically like sacrifices herself, and then like that power just blasts at
and
you.
The mirror takes it and just
I think they
wipes out.
I want to say they got one shot off.
I think they did.
And then like something happened and they had to like fix it. So like while they were fixing it,
yes, that seems right.
The 13 were trying to do this,
and so the 13 like leave Manon behind, and
is she hurt? Because she like can't go after
she's
them
hurt
for some reason.
Abraxas is hurt,
so she can't follow them.
The second for the other, like the yellow leg second, hurt Abraxas, so she can't fly anywhere.
Yes,
and she's like basically just grounded, and so she can't make it out there, and so, Ansel and the 13 go. Oh, I'm gonna tear up thinking about it. Stop. So they go and they sacrifice themselves. They like fight all the way down, and they all
in the same way that a witch does that to use her power to blast.
They all did it. They did it to destroy the witch mirror, and like Ansel was the last of them, and they all just like, oh, it's all this one spot. It was all so sad, but they took it down. And then it ended up being the prophecy. Oh, it was. I'm telling you, like, I had to put my book down. I had to put my book down and, like, walk. I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was like, I couldn't even read because my eyes were so teary. It was, like, honestly, it was probably, like...
The hardest death?
It was the hardest death out of the whole series. For sure. It was. Because it was, like, multiple, but, like, one, but, like, multiple. And, like, a man and was just, like, heartbroken. Oh, it was... Ooh. Yeah, it was rough. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Out of all the, like, I knew people were gonna die.
Well, it just didn't feel like quite as central, I guess. So you thought they'd be like maybe one or two of them might die fighting. Like Ashton might die.
And like the ones where like you might not really remember their name.
Yeah, like the 11th person.
Yeah. Like there's a little shadow, like the girls that were kind of like shadows or whatever. Yeah, you didn't think they would die as a whole, but their death was like, oh, it was heartbreaking. Yeah.
And she's so upset.
Oh god, and rightfully so. I mean, like, oh, it was hard. It was hard to read.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I'm trying to remember like order of events. Like that's happening, and then they almost breach the West Gate.
And that's when Gabriel thing happens. So Aideen does get to see him briefly.
Aideen just gets a short end of the stick this whole book. Because he's
had... like Aideen a lot.
Well, I just felt so bad for him. I felt so bad for him through this whole book. Like, he's, like, by no means my favorite character.
Yeah.
But I just felt bad for him this whole book. Because, like, he was just, like, on the front, just getting hammered. And then he sees his dad for a minute.
And they're happy for a minute.
They exchange, like, 2 sentences. And then Gabriel sacrifices himself so that he can close the gate. But it was kind of just like made me mad because the way she described it, and even like I think Aideen either like thinks or like says a comment like, I don't understand why he did this. He could have done it and we could have closed the gate. Mm-hmm. Like he could have pushed the power out instead of like going with it kind of thing. Mm. So it was almost like I feel my reaction to it, because I was expecting people to die. Mm-hmm. Like I knew people it wasn't going to come out unscathed.
You did guess that he was one of them.
Yeah, but what I didn't like was how he died. I just thought it was like it felt like it was forced. Like
he died saving his son in my eyes, which made sense.
Yeah, no, he did, but I feel like the way he did it, where like he was like helping close this gate, where it was like, even Adian was like, we could have done this a different way. Like, we could have closed the gate a different way without him having to go out there to do it. And it was just like, I felt like it was so quick. And it was kind of just like, it didn't sit well. I thought he was going to die. And I did. But, like, I just didn't like how he died. I just thought it was kind of like, it was kind of forced. I didn't like it. And I just, like, they just, like, got 1 minute. And just like, hey, whatever they said to each other. Yeah. And I was like, then he died. And I'm like, fuck. There he goes. But yeah, I knew he was going to die in that circumstance. But I didn't really care for how it happened. So he's dead. And then, I can't remember if they, like, got, like, some downtime.
I think they were able to regroup once they were all safely inside.
Yes.
And that's when they were, like, counting, like, the fire starters or flaming sword flamethrowers.
Oh, yeah.
We have, like, 2.
Yeah.
And we have, like, no sword, or no ammo.
Yeah,
and we're probably all gonna die.
Exactly, yeah. And then...
But then Maeve and Erewhon show up.
Yes, they show up, and they're like, hey, let's talk.
They're like, come down here, please.
Yeah.
And all the plans go into action again.
And you know what I loved about this plan?
Everyone knew what was going on. And it actually wasn't all her idea either.
I know. And I'm like, imagine what we could have done if we had just been...
But that's just the thing. She learns.
I mean...
She has to learn.
She learned. I mean, I was glad. Because if it had been another one where...
Of her surprise plans.
I would have been so mad.
She was down there with...
She's down there with Rowan, Fenris...
And one more person, right?
And Lorcan.
Lorcan, yeah.
They were all down there. And, like, she was kind of tearing into their minds. And, she thinks she has to jump on them.
Yeah.
But even before that happens, she, like, starts planning in Erewhon's head that, like...
Maeve is not on her side.
Yeah, like, she's not with you. Like,
and they tell him about Green. Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's
like,
why he pieces.
He leaves, yeah. He's like, I can't deal with you right now. I need to deal with these healers.
Yeah, I don't want someone here that can kill me.
Yeah.
So he goes to find Green.
Yep, he goes to find Green.
Which is exactly what they wanted him to do.
Exactly. And so they have Urine handling him and Nesrin and them handling him and Alad. And then they're handling Maeve. And so Maeve...
I think Maeve dies first.
Tries to do her little witchy tricks.
Yeah.
And she thinks she got the drop on them. And then it ends up being Fenris who, like, stabs her in the back.
For my brother.
Yeah, which I was really glad that he got that moment. But then she, like, doesn't die immediately. And they almost... It's funny because... And I can't remember exactly what the exchange is. I could probably look. But it's like, it's almost like they want her to think that they like give her some mercy in the exchange. But it ends with it ends with Aelin saying something like, you know where you can go to hell, and they kill her. And I loved it. Because for a minute I was like, you better not show
mercy.
You better not show mercy. I was so scared that they were about to show her mercy, and I was like, oh no, she's just gonna double cross you. But it was part of the plan the whole time. It was great. And they kill her, thank goodness.
So one big bad down.
One big bad down, and then while they're doing that, Urine and Alide are pinning Erewhon like to the ground. And
they tricked him kind of too.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what the exchange was there either, but they tricked him, and
he like can't move.
Alide
exercises him.
Yeah, I mean she just, and they kill him.
Yeah,
and it was great. Oh,
they did it.
10 out of 10. I was very happy. And then
because they work together.
Because they
work friendship.
Because they work together. I mean, the stuff will succeed if you work together. And then that's it. The battle's over. Everything's over.
The battle's over.
Yeah.
And now we just have the resolutions.
Yeah. And I will say
what?
I get that this book is
monstrous.
Yeah. Like, it is monstrous. But I felt like the resolution chapters just like flew by. Or like, it wasn't even chapters. I feel like it was chapter.
Yeah.
And it was just, to me, like, I think what I liked about, ACOTAR was, like, in that third book, you had that, like, big battle, and then, like, you had, like, several chapters of, like, the aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it was, like, the battle's done, and then it was, like...
The next day.
It was, like, the next day, and then it was over.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a little flash forward, but the flash forward wasn't, like, it was just about her, like, seeing that flower.
Yeah.
I mean, which is great. But I was like, I'm like, what happened when Dorian went back to the capital? I'm like, what kind of state was it in?
But I feel like that, it's almost like there was so, like...
that's what I'm saying. This is a huge book, and
Yeah.
it's like, if you added that stuff in, it'd be another 200 pages.
Yeah.
But I almost want, like, a little, like... You know how, like, for ACOTAR, it has, like, the little Frost and Starlight book
Mm-hmm.
that has, like, absolutely no plot furtherment, but it was just, like, a little, like, Christmas story.
You want that?
That's what I want. Because it was just, there's so many characters where I'm just like, wow.
Because, so Aelin and Rowan went back to rule Terrasen.
They're ruling, and, like, they're, like, coming in for Aideen and Lysandra's wedding.
Mm-hmm. They're getting married.
Yeah, and that's, like...
And she'll get to rule whatever that land they gave her.
Mm-hmm. And, like, Dorian goes back, and I guess, like, Manon's in charge of the witches.
And they are not dating. They're like, we're not together.
Yeah.
But they're going to get together, so it's fine.
You don't know that.
But no, you can imagine. It's fine. They're together. Don't worry.
I mean, you don't know.
I do know. That's how books work. You get to infer the rest of the epilogue.
I like to have some concrete proof.
I know you do. I know you do.
Yeah. And, like, Kale and...
Kale and
Yrene
are happy.
They're gonna, like, she's gonna start her own, like, healer thing in that land.
And he's going back with Dorian, right? He's not going to his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because he's the hand. He's still the hand.
And I'm guessing Nesrin stayed with Startalk.
Yeah. But I'm just like, yeah, I feel like it just, to be such a long book, the wrap up was so quick, it like gave me whiplash.
Interesting.
I was like, oh, okay, it's done.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just like kind of like book hangover too, where it's just like, it was so much build up, and I didn't have a problem with any of like what happened in like the last battles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I mean, this is great. Like, it's the best book of the series, but I think it was just so much. It's just like you get to this point, and you're here, and you find out all this stuff, and like there's so much resolution, and then it's just like, boop, and then it's just like you take so much time to build it, and then it's just like there's not like a lot of there wasn't like a lot of aftermath. Yeah, that's just how I felt.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree. I think that it like ends because there's like so much like rebuilding they have to do, and they have to like they're all going back to their own little kingdoms and their own little places. So I feel like what they almost gave you is like a glimpse into the fact that like the work's not done.
Yeah.
So I think it made sense, but
yeah, I mean, it's just it felt like it just felt like a sudden full stop.
Mm-hmm.
You just had all this stuff, and it was just like, and then they beat them, and then it's like full stop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like I feel like it was just like a slam. It was like a slam on the brakes.
So you want to like almost like a mini epilogue for each of the characters and like
yes,
worlds.
Yeah, because you just like you had all these chapters that were from all these characters' point of view, but you really only got like an epilogue from Aelin and Rowan's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I just spent all this time investing in all these characters, and I just like I want to know what happened to Evangeline.
Yeah.
Like I'm invested.
I think if you use your imagination.
I mean, yeah, but I'm like I can, but I want to know what she would have like had planned for them. But
maybe there's more to be said in that journey.
I mean, hell,
One day.
I don't know. She's writing all kinds. She said something about like writing a book that people wouldn't expect in like one of these worlds. Or like maybe it's I don't know. But I mean, not to say I mean, like I love this book, but I just felt like the end was it was like. Boop.
I will say I read somewhere, and I haven't like looked to fact check it, that the last book ends the exact same words the first book ends.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
It's
right there. That was the acknowledgements. Oh yeah, Better World.
Oh, it is end. If I go back to that last one with Aelin.
Tell me tomorrow. Yep. Oh well, yeah. Just tell me tomorrow. I had a really big book hangover the next day.
I mean, it's a big book.
It's a big book. We did it.
You did it. You did it.
And on to the next. On to Crescent City.
Wait, so, okay, like, before we finish,
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't love the ending, but...
It's not that I don't love the ending. It's just, like, I wanted, like, after, like, reading however many books, I just wanted more.
Well, I was gonna ask, like, is there any ending that you feel like you wish had been different for anyone? Like, that survived. Like, you can't, like, bring someone back from the dead.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wish Gabriel had died in a different way, but,
Or you're pretty happy with, like...
No, yeah, I was happy where everyone ended. Yeah, I wouldn't change... I'm trying to go through everybody.
So many characters.
There are. No, I was happy with how everybody ended.
Mm-hmm.
I was happy. I wouldn't have changed how anybody had ended.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 stars.
5 stars.
I don't know, what do you want to cheers to? I think, okay, we should cheers to the king.
Oh, yeah. Cheers to the king.
And to the 13.
Yes, cheers to the king and the 13. The unsung heroes of this book.
The whole series.
Yeah, basically.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming on this long Throne of Glass journey.
Oh.
It's been a lot.
It's been a lot. So worth it.
Yes.
Would recommend to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've gotten to this point, you've probably read it, but...
That's fair. But if you haven't, read Throne of Glass.
Yes. Or push it on all your friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.